So inside this box here, I have one of the latest Teclast tablets, and it's the Tbook 16S. Now, there's a Tbook Pro version, which I will review later on. This one here is a 2-in-1 tablet, so it has 11.6 inches, and it has a kickstand. That is a multi-position kickstand and a type cover. So it's a setup very similar to that of the Surface, so the Microsoft Surface line. So let's get this open. I've not opened this before. Now it's powered by the same old spec that we have seen over and over again. An Atom X5 Z8000, 300, 4GB of RAM, 64GB eMMC, and it does have Windows 10 and Android on there. Android 5.1, I think. I still don't think they have moved over to Android 6 yet. Okay, so there we go. There's the Tbook 16S. Put that aside. And here is the keyboard type cover. Let's get this open. And has an alloy housing too. And then we can see it has rather large bezels straight away. That's the first thing I've noticed there. We do have a Windows Home button, front facing 2 megapixel camera. The camera on the rear is 5 megapixel. Just flip that over. So it has a grey back on there. And there's the rear 5 megapixel camera. Volume up and down buttons there on the top. And on the left side, we do have a full USB 3 port. There's a 3.5mm headphone jack. A micro USB 2 there, sorry. DC in for charging, microphone, and micro HDMI out. This right here looks like it would be an access flap to the micro SD card, which I don't think I'm going to be able to get that open with my lack of fingernails. Okay, so I finally managed to get that open. That's actually quite hard to get off. And it is plastic along here that I've just noticed. I thought that was supposed to be metal, but it seems like a hard kind of plastic. And here we see that there is 2 slots, in fact, there. But this one has like a plastic filler in there. So that would be for a SIM card. And this is a micro SD card. So that obviously they're going to have plans, I guess, to have a 4G model. And along the bottom there is the 5 pogo pin connector for the keyboard. And on the right side, dual speakers there. So they don't have very good stereo separation, obviously, being on both of them on the right hand side. So there's not one on the left, not on the right. It's a little disappointing to see that. Have a quick look at the hinge mechanism along the bottom. So that opens up and we get a full range of angles there that you want. So you can have that facing straight up, almost, and recline that right back there. Okay, have a look and see what else is in the box. So here we have instruction manuals, warranty card, everything like that. That is, wow, all in Chinese by the looks of it. Yep. Oh no, okay, English and Chinese. And the other side will obviously be the charger. So they have given us an OTG cable. No. Alright, so there's the DC charger with USB. And we do have USB, micro USB to USB. And here's the charger. So this one is rated to 5 volts, 2.5 amps. I expected that to be a little bit higher. But it is only an Atom. Okay, so now onto the type cover style keyboard. You can see there that there's the 2 colors you can get for it. Just outline the positions, how to clip it in. Let's get this open. Okay, so that's well packaged. I said it's a very small touchpad there. It's quite long, but it doesn't have much height to it. Get this out of the bag. All right, so the material of it, it feels very similar fabric, synthetic fabric that they use on the Surface type covers. And the back of it has a felt material there. And let's have a look at the keyboard layout. So we have print screen button, which is good to see. Basically everything's there. Nice and wide, of course, being 11.6 inches. And the travel on that seems okay. There's a bit of travel there. That should be good to type on. Let's have a look at how that docks up together. So that just clips in like so. So there it is, clipped in. And it does have, I think, yes, 2 positions. So it can clip up like that. All right, so let's get this powered on now and have a quick look at the operating systems. Free space we have on the 64GB eMMC. So we have a dual boot menu again. Very large looking one now. So we either select there Android or Windows. Go into Android. So here's a quick look at the screen. So it's not a fully laminated display. You can see there's an obvious gap there, but it's not actually that large. I would estimate that to be about 1mm there, which isn't too bad for these cheaper Chinese tablets. So here's a look at the ROM. Just have a look at also the full screen brightness, which seems reasonably bright there. That doesn't seem too bad. I'll measure that later on in the full review. Turn that down a little there. So we have some bloatware on there, the typical stuff we see that Teclast puts on these ROMs, some Chinese stuff there that hopefully we can uninstall most of this. Just have a quick look. So yes, it seems we can uninstall some of that. And have a look and see settings. It looks to be Android 5.1 ROM. Yes, Android 5.1. And the amount of free storage we have 16.12 gigabytes free there. So you'll be able to fit a few extra large games on there at least, which isn't too bad. So apart from those stock applications, that ROM doesn't seem too bad. Now I'll switch over quickly and have a look at Windows and the device manager at what components they have used. So from the dual boot menu here, you're able to just boot over to Windows. Alright, so here in Windows now, the boot process took about 15 seconds. Just get rid of this sticker on the top. So there is a pre-applied screen protector, but it's not one of those ones that has 2 layers. It's just one. So I'm going to leave that on because these screens are not scratch resistant. It's only soda lime glass. So have a look in Windows and have a look at the free space we have. So 22.5 gigabytes. We'll look at system. So Teclast and Windows is already activated. So someone's already gone through and probably just set this up to make sure, probably their seller's pre-inspection before sending it out, because there already was a user account created on this. That is very common and you see that a lot. So let's have a look in Device Manager at the eMMC used. So I'd say Toshiba 064 GEA. I've been seeing a lot of those lately on recent devices. And the wireless will probably be, yes it is, Realtek. So that's wireless in, that's 2.4 gigahertz bandwidth. Not dual band, unfortunately. Just wanted to give you another close-up here of the screen. I have noticed that it seems to have a bit of a grain to it, as if it has an anti-glare coating on top of the IPS panel. It's a little odd. Hopefully you can see that on the camera. It's a bit hard to make out. But I'm not too sure. I can't say whether it has it or not. But it's just, maybe it's just the way the screen is. Like it could have a matte coating on top of there. It just doesn't seem as sharp as other panels. I guess because it's 1080p stretched across 11.6 inches. So have a closer look at the touchpad there. It doesn't seem to support gestures. I'm unable to trigger any of them there. Or the zoom. No. And that is a good thing. I know the zoom is working, so it does support gestures, but the swipe and the swipe up and down, the minimize one, that can be very annoying on such a short trackpad there. No, I cannot. That's a good thing. But yes, it's a little awkward to use that straight away, I can notice, because that is very limited space we have. The width of it is good, but the height of that, it's just so short. At least it seems accurate, and I'm able to go along and close those windows perfectly fine there. And it does have left and right hardware mouse buttons. Okay, before entering this unboxing and hands-on video, I'll just check the weight of the here. So both tablet and keyboard feels rather heavy. That's 1.16 kilos. And I will check the width of both of them there together. Have a look there. That seems rather thick. That is 15.4 millimeters. And now if I remove the keyboard case, pull that off. And now the tablet itself is 841 grams. 325 for the keyboard type cover. And lastly, just look at the thickness of the tablet by itself, which is around 10 millimeters. So it's not the thinnest. So I just fired up YouTube here to have a listen to the speakers. I've got carbon bass with live forms, the track I normally play because they don't give me any copyright issues. So I'm going to put it up to 100% volume now. Okay, so that does sound quite disappointing. They lack volume, a lot of volume actually. They're not very loud. Right, so that's the unboxing there of the Teclast Tbook 16S. My first impressions are that, well, the bezels, yes, they're quite large. They're about a thumbnail in width. They're not the smallest. The build quality feels really good. Now, it's very solid, but this frame, outer frame on it seems to be made of quite a hard ABS style plastic there. Volume up and down buttons are made of plastic. And the rear there is made out of alloy. The keyboard dock on it that it comes with, the type cover, it's got a good build quality, a good feel to it. The fabric they've used on it, the materials, the way the keys travel, it is also quite firm there to type on from the little bit of typing that I have done on it. Of course, the obvious being that the height of the touchpad there is very small. That's not exactly the greatest. And at least it's not supporting some of those gestures there. The really annoying ones that you could accidentally keep minimizing and maximizing. That does not seem to work, and neither does the side swiping, which is at least one of the positives from having such a small touchpad there. So I will be back soon with this model here. I'll put it through all my benchmarks, check out the thermals, battery life as well, and go into Android, test out some gaming in Android. So hopefully I will see you there later on. Thank you so much for watching this video.